What's going on, guys, and welcome to episode 247 of #AskGSM here today for August 22nd, 2018. I am Graham GSM Matthews. Hope you guys are doing well. And I'm still reeling from last night's great SmackDown in Brooklyn. So for those of you keeping track at home, I was at TakeOver on Saturday, worked the next day, watched SummerSlam that night, was busy all day Monday catching up on everything I missed from Saturday and Sunday, and then went to SmackDown on Tuesday. Now, I did not stick around for the dark match and for 205 Live. Did go with my girlfriend. We had an amazing time. It was her first ever live WWE show, so was very happy to share that experience with her. My first WWE show was a SmackDown taping as well 9 years ago at this point. So it's kind of cool to kind of go full circle in that respect. But I am here today to record #AskGSM. Like I said, it's been a long 48, 72 hours, and looking forward to answering your questions here today. Thankfully, we did not get a ton of questions, so today's episode will not be too lengthy. But nonetheless, guys, if you do want to send in a question to the show for me to answer here on the show, you can tweet me on the Twitter machine at WrestleRant with the #AskGSM. And as always, that's pretty important. Be sure to tweet me at WrestleRant and use the hashtag. If you don't use the hashtag, if you don't use the at WrestleRant handle, I won't see your tweet. There are some times people tweet me or respond to me or whatever, and I don't see it in my notifications. Like sometimes I'll get notifications on my phone, but I won't see it in my feed, if that makes sense, which is really weird. That's happened with a lot of different things, so just be sure if it doesn't get seen or whatever, just be sure to let me know. But nonetheless, there's Twitter. If not that, there's also Facebook, facebook.com/Graham.GSM.Matthews. You can leave a comment on the post I usually put up on Tuesday nights or on the wall itself. And last but certainly not least, be sure to drop your question down below in the comment section of this very video. I'll include it in next week's edition. So first question coming in from Captain Sunshine on YouTube. First question was, I don't care if this is a controversial hot take or whatever, but I'm actually glad Roman Reigns is Universal Champion. He's the first guy who, how do I put this, actually cares about the title and lets everyone care about the title as well. Finn Balor only held it for a day. Kevin Owens' reign was ultimately a vague status boost for him at best. Goldberg's reign was just a way for him to impress his kid, and I'd rather not even talk about Brock Lesnar's reign anymore. One good thing about Roman is that his divisive crowd reactions make championship matches feel noteworthy because everyone knows he's a largely unstoppable Cena 2.0, but yet is still beatable. So him fighting guys like Finn Balor and Braun Strowman for the Universal Championship are interesting events, and competing on Raw feels like it has a goal and purpose again. Also, the Shield is back, and now the main event scene is Reigns battling irresistible monster Braun Strowman with the help of a year-round ace Seth Rollins and a revitalized Dean Ambrose. And God, I am just so happy to love and look forward to this wrestling show again. Maybe I'm just being an overly optimistic mark, or whatever the term is supposed to be, but is it okay to like Raw and Reigns as champion? So the thing with Raw, I did not think Raw was a home run show. Let's not get this twisted here, that just because the ending was fucking fantastic, that the show was really all that good. Overall, it was kind of a mediocre show, to be honest. I liked the opening with Balor and Reigns. Everything else, for the most part, was just kind of there. Corbin and Bobby Lashley, who the fuck cares? The Riot Squad versus Banks, Bayley, and Moon for the millionth time, who the fuck cares? The Ronda Rousey stuff was fine. It felt forced, but I like Ronda Rousey. Dean Ambrose and Dolph Ziggler I thought was good. The mid-card stuff is good right now. Titus Worldwide versus Authors of Pain. Again, who gives a fuck? So you can like Raw, whatever. I'm not going to say that, oh my God, the Shield's back, Raw's amazing again. Like, the main event scene is definitely more interesting than it was before. You are not wrong about that. But I will agree with you that Roman Reigns as champion, at least for right now, is a good thing. Because if anything, it's better than fucking Brock Lesnar. The same can be said when he won the championship for the first time many years ago when he beat Sheamus in that episode of Raw like the day after TLC. It was a big deal, not because people were clamoring for Roman Reigns as Universe or as WWE champion at that time, but because they wanted Sheamus as champion even less. Sheamus was booked like fucking shit at that point in time, and Roman has really never been portrayed the way that he should be. Still, though, he can have better matches. He's more interesting as a character to an extent. I thought the Balor match on Raw this week was great. The last half hour of the show I thought was phenomenal. Between the Balor match, the Braun Strowman tease, and then the Shield reuniting was great. Again, this could be only a one-night occurrence now, because the thing is, this shit has happened before. Go back 2 years ago when Kevin Owens won the Universal Championship on Raw in shocking fashion, aligned with Triple H seemingly, went fucking nowhere. Went nowhere. So we'll see where this goes. I do agree that if you're hating Roman Reigns as champion for whatever reason, I agree that is a bit dumb. I don't blame you for liking Roman as champion. I think it's a lot better than having Brock as champion. It's actually refreshing to have the champion show up every week. What a fucking concept. The Brock thing long overstayed its welcome. If it lasted a few months, fine. Lasting over 500 days, this should have ended a long time ago. But yeah, Roman as champion opens up a lot of possibilities. The Shield stuff is great. But yeah, I thought it was good. We'll see. I'm not going to say I like Raw more than SmackDown. I still think SmackDown is the superior show. There's just a lot more engaging storylines all around on the Blue brand at the moment. But Raw took a step in the right direction with the ending of the show this week. They have a lot of other fucking shit to fix with stuff that just doesn't matter. Another Elias concert, Elias versus Kurt Hawkins, who cares? Titus Worldwide versus Authors of Pain again, who cares? The Revival versus fucking B-Team, who gives a shit? Like, they have a lot of stuff to fix, but at least the main event scene has piqued my interest for the time being. Their second question, just so I don't forget to mention it, NXT TakeOver Brooklyn 4 was great and is probably one of the best and broadest takeovers they've ever done. From impeccable tag team wrestling to ridiculous comic book looking characters to insane flips to great MMA/Joshi inspired wrestling to pathos filled hardcore violence, this felt like the three-ring circus I always thought wrestling should be. It's why I used to love WCW. Sure, there was bullshit at the top of the card, but there was also stuff in the middle for me that I could also feel comfortable showing off to friends who weren't into wrestling and convince them of the diverse appeal of wrestling. Companies like New Japan and Ring of Honor are good, great, amazing at what they do and make the occasional attempt to variate their act, but not nearly enough, which is why I appreciate WWE's developmental brand of all things, producing these shows and presenting alternatives to what makes wrestling wonderful. Is NXT a shining example of wrestling's appeal? You're goddamn right it is. You are absolutely fucking right it is. Here's a great example. A mutual friend of Jason and ours, I'm pretty sure I mentioned her here on the show before. She was not a wrestling fan at all. She's been friends with Jason and I for a while now. Jason and I would always watch the wrestling pay-per-views like the next day. We've been doing that now for the past year or two. She wouldn't really join us up until I think she joined us for Survivor Series, if only for the main event. Not because she had an interest in the event, but just because she happened to be there. Jason started to show her more shows, and not only more Raw and SmackDown and pay-per-view shows and stuff like that, but NXT as well, which made me really happy, because NXT is by far the best thing going in WWE today. Now, 205 Live is also really good, and they've come a long way from where they used to be, but NXT, I still say, is the best brand in all of WWE at this present moment. And they watch the weekly show, they watch the takeovers, and she's really gotten into people like Adam Cole Bebe, Velveteen Dream, Johnny Gargano, hates Tommaso Ciampa, Aleister Black they like, stuff like that. But you are absolutely right that NXT really hits the nail on the head with a lot of things. Every match feels like something different. I mean, again, like you said, New Japan, Ring of Honor, they have a lot of great match after great match, and that's fine. But I feel like NXT does an amazing job of giving something to offer for everyone. From the characters with EC3 and Velveteen Dream to just flat out fucking great entertaining wrestling with Ricochet and Adam Cole, to tag team wrestling at its finest with the opener with Mustache Mountain and Undisputed Era, to just a personal grudge, just a blood-filled feud between Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa, with the women also shining what I thought was the best women's takeover match in at least a year. I thought at least the best match since Asuka and Ember Moon Part 2 at Brooklyn 3 last year. The 4-way at War Games was pretty good, was not great. Baszler and Moon in Philadelphia was pretty good. Their New Orleans match was great. I didn't think it was amazing. I thought it was very good, though. And then Cross and Baszler I thought was solid, but it really was easily the weakest match of the night on that show. Baszler and Sane on this show I thought was fantastic. The finish, and not just because the finish took me by surprise, but just the whole thing I think is awesome. Just the whole match I thought was really, really good. But yeah, I agree. NXT is such a great alternative. Like you said, a great alternative to Raw, SmackDown, and even companies like Lucha and NXT, and not NXT, Ring of Honor and New Japan and companies like that. It's really cool to see an Impact as well. It's really something different than anything else you'll ever see, and they keep fucking refilling the pot. I mean, they obviously make their own stars too, not nearly as much as they bring in people like Matt Riddle and Keith Lee and Ricochet and EC3 from other promotions. But, they have the occasional Lars Sullivan, who's a, work in progress. Bianca Belair, same exact thing. She was never a indie star elsewhere. She was never the Shimmer World Champion. She was never fucking world champion of the women's division in Japan. Like, she worked her way up from the bottom, and now she's one of the top players in the NXT women's division, and she's gotten a lot better in a very short span of time. So, yeah, I agree. I thought TakeOver was great. Definitely one of the most diverse shows they've ever done. I would not even put it near the top of best takeovers they've ever done. I thought it was the weakest Brooklyn show I've ever seen, which I know might surprise you, which isn't... I mean, again, it sounds awful, but it sounds worse than it actually is. Just the other takeovers in Brooklyn I thought were just way better. I mean, I was at 1 and 2. I was at this one, 2 on Saturday. I thought 3 was better than 4. I thought 4 was really good, better than SummerSlam by far. Just, I don't know, I thought it was a weaker show than the other ones, and this one still had many 4 to 5 star classics. So, again, that's saying something. I don't know if it was one of the best takeovers ever, but it was easily one of the best and most diverse, not one of the best, but one of the most diverse and, like you said, broadest takeovers they've ever put on. Brandon A. from YouTube, top 3 matches of the week. I'm sorry, I'm just going to put them all from NXT TakeOver. SummerSlam had some good matches. I thought Joe and AJ and Daniel Bryan and Miz were both really, really good. But the top 3 matches of the week were all from fucking NXT. You can also throw in New Day and Bludgeon Brothers from SmackDown, but I still thought the NXT matches were better. Undisputed Era versus Mustache Mountain, Cole and Ricochet, and Gargano Ciampa. All 3 matches were fucking great. You could throw Shayna Baszler in there too. The whole show was awesome. Really, the only good match was EC3 and Velveteen Dream. And by good, I mean decent. Everything else was off the charts awesome. So you can really interchange any one of those matches and you wouldn't be wrong. Brandon's second question. I know you're not a fan of Nikki Bella, but why would Nikki Bella versus Ronda Rousey objectively be a bad feud? I'm asking this question based upon Solomonster's podcast, which he was very against going in that direction. I wonder if you feel similarly. I cannot fucking pronounce that for the life of me. The same way, I'll guess. That's another synonym. I'm messing up that word too. Holy shit. Anyway, so just looking at a few factors, though, I see it as a great feud for Ronda going in Evolution. For 1, Nikki Bella has star power. 2, Nikki is a good in-ring worker. Lastly, she has 3 consecutive feuds with Carmella, Natalya, and Miz and Maurice. 3 consecutive great feuds with Carmella, Natalya, and Miz and Maurice. The matches were all pretty good, and the stories were great. The only match that under-delivered was the mixed tag, and Cena and Miz controlled most of the match. Also, by doing this match at Evolution, you have Ronda go against an important woman at an important pay-per-view, but still can save the Horsewoman versus Horsewoman match for Survivor Series and Charlotte versus Ronda for WrestleMania. What say you? Well, real quick, before I answer your question, I was thinking about the 4 Horsewomen thing, and I was going to write about it, but I just didn't have time. I was thinking a great way or a great show to do that at would be the Evolution pay-per-view in October. 4 Horsewomen versus 4 Horsewomen. And it made me think, too, maybe that's why they're holding off on the split between Bayley and Banks, because they wanted to do that match. Now, fucking Becky just turned on Charlotte. So I don't think we're getting that anytime soon. At Evolution, Survivor Series, unless you want to say, they're putting their differences aside. No, fucking no. At this point, it would make absolutely no sense. So I don't see that happening. They had their chance. The other 2 women aren't even ready yet. Baszler's very good. She's gotten very good in a short span of time. Ronda Rousey's also great at this point, or very good as well, if you want to say that. The other 2 women have barely gotten started with their wrestling careers. So I think Survivor Series might be it's kind of a long shot at this point. It's still 2-3 months away, but I don't think they'll be ready by then. Anyway, going back to your question, I'm not a fan of the match either, to be honest. I just think Ronda Rousey, there's so many better matches you can do. And I know it's the past versus the future, where Nikki Bella has been here for 10 years. Former multi-time Divas champion, women's champion, longest reigning Divas champion of all time. Yeah, she's a good worker. She's not awful. She has improved. And I do agree. I thought the Carmella, Natalya, and Miz and Maurice feuds were great. I really enjoyed Nikki's last run with the company. I'm not going to lie. Like, I kind of got, like, sick to my stomach when I saw them on SummerSlam fucking 4 or 5 times on Sunday. Just because I hate the fucking Bella Twins as, like, an act together. It's so played out. Nikki on her own is fine as a babyface. I know she feels more comfortable as a heel. But the whole, like, they're doing the whole fucking bullshit. Like, that feels like the Divas division to me. Like, what Carmella currently does is what Nikki used to do. And it was unbearable when Nikki did it. As a babyface, I think she's very good. Which is why I think those feuds were so entertaining. Because she held her own. The matches were good. And I don't know, it was something different for her. But I don't really want to see a babyface Nikki versus babyface Ronda match. And if you turn Nikki heel, the whole story would be, oh, I started the women's revolution, which is such fucking bullshit. It's so stupid. You know that would be the main event, which it shouldn't be. I don't know. I just don't think it would be a good match. I know Nikki Bella, you called her a good worker. Ronda Rousey and Nikki Bella on paper just does nothing for me. Maybe if you played up how, like, I thought it was so stupid how they had the Bella Twins congratulate Ronda Rousey on Sunday. Like, bitch, weren't you the same fucking woman a couple months ago that was like, oh, I'm not all that in favor of Ronda Rousey coming into the company? Like, wasn't that Nikki Bella who wasn't, like, completely enthralled with her coming in? I might be mistaken, but I know Ronda had some detractors in the back, and I'm pretty sure Nikki Bella was one of them, and she has outright said that I'm not a fan of Ronda Rousey coming in and taking a spot, or something along those lines. And then she played kind of like Goody Two Shoes, like, yay, we're best friends at SummerSlam. I'm like, dude, fuck you. I'd be fine if they played up that story and were like, you were so fake to my face at SummerSlam, but you've been talking shit about me ever since I came into the company earlier this year. I would like that. That might be entertaining. Just as a match, it does nothing for me. I think Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler would be better. I know that's way too soon, but we might be headed in that direction, to be honest. Baszler could be called up any day now. She lost the belt to Sane, which I don't think anyone saw coming, which to me would mean that she's getting called up very, very soon. And if and when she does, she has that feud with Ronda Rousey. Now, again, you can save that for a little later down the road. But I don't know. I think that would be a good fit for the next show with Stephanie bringing her in as her hired gun. It would just make sense from a storyline standpoint. Nikki coming in, unless she's going to be full-time, it really just does nothing for me. It really doesn't. I think Ronda versus Bayley would even be better than that, or Ronda Rousey versus Sasha Banks, which, again, you can build to down the road, or I don't know. I would really just go with any of those matches over Ronda and Nikki Bella, not because it would be a terrible match, but just because I do think there's better options for such a big show. And I know Nikki Bella's a big name and all, but you know she's coming back to the ring, but I don't know. Just Nikki versus Ronda for the championship, like it's the same fucking John Cena syndrome. It's now rubbing off on his ex-girlfriend, on the gold-digging girlfriend that is Nikki Bella. Hey, that's purely my opinion. That's not a fact, but anyway, that she just comes in and earns a title shot without doing anything to earn it whatsoever. She just comes in, gets a title shot, but does nothing to deserve it, even though she's been gone for fucking a year and a half. So anyway, I'm not a big fan of it. Maybe they surprise me. Maybe they exceed my expectations. A lot like Cena and Nikki versus Miz and Maurice. We'll see. Nikki's a good worker and a good talker if she is motivated and is in the right program, but time will tell. CJS from Facebook has got 2 questions here. First one being, why does the WWE like to troll their fans so much? People were begging for a Braun Strowman cash-in, but no, we're stuck with numbnuts. So obviously he's not a big Roman Reigns fan. And I can agree with that, but I thought it was good. I mean, obviously they didn't have Braun cash in. If you're talking about SummerSlam, the only reason they had Braun out there was for fucking damage control. That was the only reason Braun was out there, to make people think that he was going to cash in, so people didn't shit on Roman and Brock, which they did anyway, but it was a lot less hostile than it probably could have been if Braun wasn't out there. So anyway, they did that for a reason. Then the Raw angle was done to reintroduce the Shield. Braun will be champion. Don't worry about it. They're not going to have him cash in and lose. After Baron Corbin did that last year, that would be a fucking mistake. The guy needs the World Championship eventually. He's going to get the World Championship eventually. Let's not rush it. He could be champion right now and I wouldn't complain, but they got a plan in place. Hopefully. So I know you're going to say they're trolling us, but Braun will be champion, so just relax. His second question, Did you think the Shield reunion was mostly about more effort expended into getting Roman Reigns cheered and protecting Raw from ending on a sour note, or do you have a more positive spin? As you can tell, I'm not a Reigns as champ fan. Yeah, it's obviously about getting Roman cheered. I mean, the Shield was still booed a little bit when Roman laid out Braun Strowman, but it was a lot less than it could have been if it was just than it would have been if it was just Roman. The people love the Shield. They hate Roman on his own, but they love the Shield. So I do think a lot of it has to do with getting Roman cheered. I think once the Shield breaks up, Roman will be back to being booed every single week. If, just assuming that he isn't already. I think he will be starting next week. I mean, we'll see. I don't know if the Shield reunion is a full-fledged reunion, if it's a one-night thing, if Roman's even going to be a part of it. I would assume he will be. I don't know. I have no clue. So we'll see. But I think the Shield reunion's good. I know what their intentions are, but they had the same intentions last year, to get fucking Roman Reigns cheered. But who cares? Just enjoy it for what it is. Because I love the Shield. I don't care why they're doing it. I'm just happy they are doing it. And also because of the fact that we were kind of fucking slighted out of a Shield reunion the first time. Because we almost got it, then they didn't really go full throttle with it. And then they fucking went their separate ways. Ambrose got hurt, and that was it. So this is kind of them making up for that, which is great. And I hope that they go all the way with it and they don't split them up in the matter of a fucking, few days or so. But whatever. I am hoping that the Shield reunion will last for a while. Jeremy B from Facebook, his question is, with Rowan injured, do you think we could get a segment with the Shield and Braun Strowman where the lights go out, come back on, and all of a sudden Bray Wyatt and Harper are in the ring? That, to be honest with you, would be really, really cool. I don't think it's going to happen. I don't know who would be the heel. I don't really even give a shit. But I think it would make a lot of sense. I mean, Braun needs backup against the Shield. I mean, he proved that he didn't last year when he beat Rollins and Ambrose and Reigns one-on-one in just 3 different matches over the course of a few weeks. So he can't take them on by himself, but I think it would help if he had some backup. Who better than Bray Wyatt and Harper? Now, in the past, year or so, I've never really been high on the idea of reuniting Wyatt and Harper, or Wyatt and Strowman, rather, just because Strowman's on a different level right now in terms of superstardom. But it wouldn't hurt. I mean, I think from a storyline standpoint, it would work because Braun needs backup. The Shield has history with the Wyatt family. Bray Wyatt's tag team partner, Woken Matt Hardy's currently hurt or out injured or doing backstage stuff. He won't be back anytime soon, if at all. So Bray Wyatt's shit out of luck. And then Luke Harper is also shit out of luck because his tag team partner is also hurt right now. So I don't see why not. You would have to get Harper over to the Raw brand. Maybe there's a trade or something. I mean, I would love to see Harper break out on his own. I highly doubt that's going to happen when Rowan's out hurt, which is unfortunate because the fucking Wyatt family has gotten hurt so many times. All these guys, they come back, they get hurt fucking all the time. All 3 of them. Bray Wyatt, Harper, Rowan. It's constant with these people. But yeah, bringing them back together for one last series of matches with the Shield, I am all in on that. His second question, do you think WWE made a mistake by turning Becky Lynch heel instead of Charlotte Flair? 100%. Being at SmackDown last night, it was pretty evident. I mean, I'm sure it came across on TV as well. But it was pretty evident watching on TV, or I'm sorry, watching it in person, that Charlotte is not the one that people want to side with. Even Becky's logic, even Lynch's logic in turning on the fans, and even her shitting on the fans for not siding with her and not being behind her since day one, it made me want to cheer her even more because she was completely fucking justified in everything she did at the pay-per-view. Becky Lynch is one of the most genuinely and organically over baby faces on the roster. It's not like a Sami Zayn situation where he was treading water for months and it's like a last-ditch effort in turning him heel. That worked because Zayn's a better babyface, but he was an entertaining heel too. With Becky Lynch, she had momentum. The reactions that she's been getting for the last couple of months have been great. Why would you squander that to position Charlotte Flair as the babyface? Now, I know Brooklyn may be different from fucking Nashville or something where they might cheer Charlotte over Becky. I just don't think it's going to work. Charlotte feels miscast as a babyface. She feels like the Roman Reigns of the fucking women's division on SmackDown. That's how bad it is. That's not a compliment because she should be a heel and people will not side with Charlotte overall over Becky Lynch. That's just the truth. But I did think Becky's heel promo was great. I'm not saying she won't work as a heel. I think Becky's going to be a great heel. But it would be a different story if she turned heel on someone like, not even Bayley. Like, no one is as beloved in WWE right now as Becky Lynch. Like, even Asuka's lost a lot of momentum and fanfare over the last couple of months. So, like, Becky turning on anyone, I think, still would have gotten her the same reaction, especially Charlotte, who came in out of nowhere, beat the champion, and then gets a title shot and wins the title there, too. Seems pretty shitty to me on paper, so I don't blame Becky one bit, and I don't blame the crowd for cheering her either. At Reborn again from Twitter, that is John Ritland. Check out his YouTube channel. I plug it every single week here on the show when he sends in questions. Does great stuff. I love the movie reviews. Love the wrestling reviews, but the movie reviews is what I watch. Go out of my way to watch all the time. He did a review of Slender Man with the Derminator, another great guy on the channel. Check them out. But anyway, his first question was, how soon will the Shield reunion end? Hell in the Cell, Survivor Series, etc. Also, does it end with Ambrose going heel? I hope it's longer than the first one reunion, and then the first reunion was last year. I don't have hope that it will, but I think it could. I mean, it absolutely should end with Ambrose going heel. That's obvious. I mean, obviously Roman going heel would be ideal, but Ambrose needs to go heel, not first, but he needs to go heel just as bad. He feels refreshed since coming back, but a heel turn could really do him wonders. So yeah, I think Ambrose could be the one to turn this time on Seth or Roman. Probably Seth, because that would get him booed, because Seth is beloved right now. But yeah, not Hell in the Cell. I think that'd be way too soon. I mean, I could see them doing their own thing in like tag team and singles competition, especially considering that Roman Reigns is the world champion at the moment. But still, I guess we'll soon see. I don't think Hell in the Cell is the right place to blow up the Shield reunion. I would drag it out till Survivor Series, which is known for multi-man matches. If not the Hell in the Cell is next month. What's in October? That's the women's pay-per-view. I don't know. I guess maybe blow it off with the Rumble and then do another 3-way at WrestleMania. That would be pretty cool. I don't know, but yeah, I could certainly see them having Ambrose be the one to go heel this time when they inevitably break up again. His second question: with the lack of crowd reaction to the Cruiserweight title match on the SummerSlam kickoff show, will it damper the chances of the 205 Live roster getting featured on more pay-per-views? So, you know what? When you sent that in, you know what it made me think of? Like, if NXT, if they had one of their TakeOver matches be featured on SummerSlam, in Brooklyn, I'm sure it would get a pretty good reaction. Anywhere else, it would not nearly be the same. Imagine if they had Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa for the Last Man Standing, and a Last Man Standing match for the NXT Championship on SummerSlam. It wouldn't be the same. The commentators would be different. The energy would be different. The atmosphere would be different. People just don't know their back history, and just kind of catching people up on it through a quick video package helps. But that's about it. So that's what I think of, because NXT is so contained to Full Sail that obviously people who go to TakeOver are going to react like they're stars, because they're going to they're buying tickets to see NXT. You don't buy tickets to the NXT TV tapings at Full Sail and then see Raw and SmackDown after it. No, that's not like 205 Live. I know it's taped after SmackDown, but it really should be moved to Full Sail. It's exclusive to its own thing. They're not on Raw anymore, so why not just fucking tape it at Full Sail? And then, if anything, quite honestly, I would do what they've done with the UK division and incorporate the Cruiserweight division into the TakeOver specials. I think that would be a lot better than incorporating them on the fucking main roster shows, because on the main roster pay-per-views, they feel like an afterthought. It's literally been almost 2 years since the Cruiserweights have been on a pay-per-view. They obviously were on the kickoff show at SummerSlam. They were on the kickoff show at WrestleMania. They were on the kickoff show at the Royal Rumble. They were on the kickoff show at Survivor Series last year. I think Enzo and Kalisto was on the kickoff show last year. SummerSlam, Akira Tozawa versus Neville, kickoff show. And WrestleMania 33, Neville and Austin Aries, fucking kickoff show. The last Big Four pay-per-view before that, where they were on the actual show, was Royal Rumble, where Neville beat Rich Swann and won the belt. Beyond that, they've never been on a big show like that. I don't even think Survivor Series they were on the actual show. Oh, no, they were, because it was like fucking... it was something stupid like the Brian Kendrick versus Kalisto or something really dumb like that. But yeah, so it's been a while. I would just incorporate Alexander and all the Cruiserweight guys in NXT. I know NXT's kind of loaded with talent right now. I'm not saying put the Cruiserweight guys on NXT TV, but I think the people that are watching the shows at a Full Sail, the same people who watch NXT are probably going to watch 205 Live. And they're going to get a better reaction in front of 10,000 people at the Barclays for a TakeOver than they would a different core of fans at Raw or SmackDown or SummerSlam in the same venue the very next night. So that's what I would do. But yeah, I do think that the Cruiserweight title match at SummerSlam, I thought it was good, but the crowd sat on their hands for it. And it sucks because they don't watch the shows. They don't know what's going on. They're not familiar with Drew Gulak or Alexander and their current feud and stuff. It's actually pretty good, simple, straightforward. I enjoy the show a lot. But yeah, I do think incorporating these guys, at least in my opinion, into the TakeOver specials. I know they were already doing 5 matches as it is, but what the fuck? Add a 6th with the Cruiserweight guys. I think that would be a much better option than having these guys on the main roster pay-per-views on the fucking kickoff, because it sends the wrong message right then and there. Their third question, John's third question here, where would you rank the Ciampa versus Gargano rivalry among the best that you've seen in wrestling? Whether just since you've been watching, or even ranking it among the best in the last 20 to 30 years. That's a great question. At least in the time I've been watching, it's got to be top 3. I've really been enjoying the Gargano-Ciampa stuff. I know people will say it's been overplayed, blah, blah, blah. But you know what? Fucking so is Jericho and Shawn Michaels by the end there. It was going on for like 8 months, so give me a break. But still, I think all their matches have been match of the year contenders. Maybe the first 2 more than the most recent one. But still, they were all amazing. The characterization's been great. They've been constantly finding new ways to keep things interesting and keep things fresh and not have it go stale. Ciampa's the best bad guy in the business. Gargano is like the MVP in WWE/NXT in 2018. So it's got to be up there as one of the greatest feuds I've ever seen. I don't know if it's my favorite feud just yet. It's not over yet, so I can't really say. It's easily one of the best feuds I've seen in NXT/WWE in the last 10 years. Easily. 20, 30 years, that's a bit of a stretch. I don't know if I would put it up there with Steamboat and Flair or Austin and Rock or Austin and McMahon and stuff like that. But it's got to be up there in terms of storytelling, match quality, character development, everything. They check off every fucking box every fucking time. So it's got to be up there. I don't know if it's the greatest feud, but I would regard it as one of the best in the last 15, 20 years. But again, that's purely my opinion. Next question from Matt Hardy, the X-Fan from Twitter. We got 3 more questions here. His is the first one. Where do you think WWE will be in the next 5 years? That's a good question. Obviously, we have no clue. I do think they'll be even a stronger company by that point. They'll be on Fox by then. They'll still be on USA with Raw. They're making more money now hand over fist than they ever have in their company's existence. In the existence of the organization, they have never made more money hand over fist than ever before at any other point in their existence. I think that will continue to grow. The company's product may not always be the best, but financially they're not going anywhere. My brother would ask me a few times. He asked me once a while ago, like, do you think WWE would ever close down? And I can't say, like, I would have to say no. They've been around now for 60 years. It's more about just than the wrestling nowadays. It's more about just that. It's about a lot of other stuff than just the wrestling in 2018. Just every other fucking promotional thing they do, they succeed at. WWE is a global conglomerate. They are a fucking monopoly, which is obviously bad in some ways, but at the same time, they're doing something right if they're making more money now than ever before. So they'll still be here. I don't know what the roster is going to look like. If you asked me in 2013, who could I see in WWE in 2018 as champions? If you said fucking Leaky from NXT or Brock Lesnar or AJ Styles, I would have called you crazy. So I do agree that I would personally subscribe to the belief that WWE will be even in a better state financially and creatively 5 years from now. Final 2 questions come from @RJ_Marceau. Mr. Marceau on the Twitter machine. His first question is, who do you think will be the next 2 challengers for Kairi Sane and Tommaso Ciampa? For Sane, obviously, Baszler gets a rematch. Ciampa Gargano's now lost twice. There's no reason for him to go back for the belt. So obviously Black will get his rematch eventually, so that's going to happen at some point. You have Aleister Black. Velveteen Dream is a heel. I could see him stepping up. Ricochet would be cool. Adam Cole would be cool, but he's a heel as well. I'm not really sure for Ciampa. There's a couple different options, thankfully. for Sane, NXT is so lucky to have such a loaded women's division because there's so many possibilities. Like, they could do Sane and Baszler Part 2 at Evolution. They could save it I would save it for Evolution, to be honest with you. They're doing the finals of the 2018 Mae Young Classic on that night. What better than doing another match, a rematch from last year's Mae Young Classic on that show for the NXT Women's Championship? I would figure that Sane isn't winning, obviously, or that Baszler isn't winning the belt back. But I think it'd be a great match based off their encounter in Brooklyn. But yeah, obviously Baszler, if not her, Bianca Belair could step up. Deonna Purrazzo just debuted on NXT tonight, which is really, really cool. So I don't think anytime soon that she'll be going for the championship or gunning for the gold. But she's always a distinct possibility. You have Lacey Evans. She's been winning more matches recently. I don't really want to see her in the title picture, but she's good too. Vanessa Bourne, still a work in progress. Nikki Cross, it's time to move on with her. I really don't care at this point. There's LeRae. There's a few other people, so I think they have a lot of other women they can go back to, but I obviously do think Baszler will be the first one to get a crack at the championship, possibly come Evolution. And then the very last question of the day, also from Mr. Mars. So, what was the best match from NXT Brooklyn 4? That's a great question. Pretty much every match, like I said, other than EC3 and Velveteen Dream, which was solid, but aside from that, everything was great. So you could honestly say any other match, and I wouldn't argue with you. I would take Gargano and Ciampa just because of the rivalry at stake and the championship and the high emotion and the drama and the intensity. Everything about it was phenomenal. Everything. Everything about that match was just fucking fantastic. But the match I enjoyed the most, that I regarded as the match of the night, was Adam Cole versus Ricochet for the NXT North American Championship. That was an absolute blast. That was my favorite match of the night. The tag team match was great. Women's match I saw only part of. I'm not going to lie to you. I went out to go get food, and the fucking concessions in Barclays are ridiculously priced. I work at a movie theater. I know how prices can be. A soda at my movie theater, a large soda is like $8.50. A fucking soda at Barclays, $13. Like, fuck you. That's ridiculous. And it's ginormous, too. There's only one size. It's like, come on, dude. Fuck you. Anyway, though, off my Barclays concession rant, I thought the show was great. If I had to pick one match, best match of the night, gun to head, Cole Ricochet for the NXT North American Championship. And I can't wait to watch that show back on the network. I still have yet to watch back in full TakeOver Chicago, which I was also at back in June. That just goes to show how busy I've been since that show 2 months ago. I still got to watch TakeOver back. There's still a lot of stuff I have to do. But that being said, guys, I hope you've enjoyed today's show, episode 247 here today for August 22nd, 2018. I am Graham GSM Matthews. If you guys want to send in a question to the show, you can do so by tweeting me on the Twitter machine at WrestleRant with the hashtag AskGSM. Find me on Facebook as well at facebook.com/Graham.GSM.Matthews. Leave a comment on the post I usually put up on Tuesday nights, if not on the wall itself. And last but certainly not least, drop your question down below on this very video in the comments section. I'll include your question in next week's edition. So be sure to, as you said, drop a comment, like the video, share the video, and subscribe to the channel for more content. The video schedule has been kind of fucked up for a while now, especially the last couple days. I've just been really, really busy. I got Network and Chill up for this week. The episode of Photo Shoot, that should be up by now. That went up a little while ago. The videos I took, which weren't many, but a few videos I took at SmackDown last night, will be up hopefully today or tomorrow, Wednesday, Thursday. And Wrestle Rant radio excerpts hopefully coming on Thursday, as well as Ms. and Mrs. review on Friday. So with all that being said, guys, have a great rest of your week. I'm Graham GSM Matthews, and I'll catch your ass down the road.